For me, the purpose of the session today is, as you see, I'm not using any PPTs, I'm not using any presentation, because this is as I told Madhav, it's about more of a discussion. Yeah, and I think instead of trying to fit a 2-day program into half a day, we'll look into what are some of the issues that we are more interested in, and then we can have a better discussion based on that. Yeah, so that may be a bit productive.
Makes sense.
Yes, yes. So the recording, what I'll do is I'll definitely edit it. So anything that is very specific to NIIT, it will be deleted for sure. It'll be edited out. So no worries. It'll be it's just to show me more than anything else, right? And if you see me waving to this thing, it's because it's supposed to follow me, but it's not really. It's supposed to be very smart, but it's not that smart. So if I keep on waving to this thing, that's because it fails to recognize me. Anyway, that's the thing. Yeah. So we have a long list of things that I think Madhav sent from prospecting all the way to closing. So it's a long thing, and we also like to see how we can actually build the sales pipeline. And usually, how I start my workshops is that I just want to find out what are some of the challenges that you face, be it for schools, be it for corporate training. What are some of the challenges you face generally? 我们通常做销售遇到什么挑战？
So I think it will help CJ.
Yeah.
If we could focus our discussions on, let's say, the B2B business.
Sure.
Because the challenges which are there in the university vertical are something which we are familiar with, and we know how to deal with them, and we've been doing it for a long time.
Sure.
Right,
Sure.
And that's a very contrasting business than a B2B business.
Yes. Totally
Because
different.
there's government involved, there are various stakeholders which do not behave like B2B
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
So it'll be helpful if we focus our discussion on B2B,
Sure.
because that's really where we need help.
Sure.
In the sense that while NIT is 80% of what we do globally comes from our corporate business.
Wow.
In China, we just started this business last year.
Okay.
And we have absolutely new sales team.
Okay.
With Madhav, who came in a year and a half back with a non-sales background. He was with CI, as you know.
Yes, I know.
And Roy, who just joined recently.
Right.
So we are still
Jesse.
dabbling, and Jesse, who's been a part of our operations team, who's been inducted into B2B.
Sure.
So we are still dabbling with how to get success
Okay. So
in B2B. So I think that will help.
So Madhav, this is your show. So what are your key issues?
I think when we started the business, with generating leads, basically the prospects, reaching out to them, getting the first meeting, reaching across to them,
Sure.
educating them about who we are. So that was one of the challenges that we found.
Right.
Many times we could identify what they were looking at, but then the closing was a big challenge.
Right.
Some of them took a lot of time to do. Even for a single training, sometimes it took us about 6 months to get one kind of a training. So those kind of some of the
6 months to get one training.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was one of the challenges that we faced.
So long.
Yeah.
Long lead time. Yeah. Or not lead time, but rather long sales cycle. Yeah. You see a customer. You talk to them, and it takes a long time before you can close the sale. Okay.
So that was one. Second thing is when we were reaching out to the companies, majority of the companies whom we started talking to came through personal connects.
Yes.
Or references.
Yeah.
When you're reaching out to them on LinkedIn and just writing them an email, we generally never got a response. Some of them took a long time to get a response. But we were still able to find ways to reach out to the right person through different connects.
Right. So besides LinkedIn, what other channels are you using?
LinkedIn was the primary source, and by the personal connects. Those were the primary sources.
Have you? What other ways are you exploring, or do you want to think about getting contacts?
The contacts were some of them were the chambers.
Okay.
And some of them my own personal connects over the years that I was in China.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that Rajiv can do. Digital marketing with LinkedIn. We'll come to that. Right. I don't think this is long sales cycle. LinkedIn get a long response. Yeah.
That was one.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So I think just to add to what Martha was saying, so generally when we're looking at sales, the primary contact is made through direct sales.
Yeah.
And through the marketing channels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So telesales, who do you call?
Direct sales is salespeople giving calls or writing emails to their contacts who they already know.
Okay.
To their professional contacts.
Okay.
Or even people who have contacted the company on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is more of a direct sales.
Right.
I would say.
Right.
And the other channel is to the marketing media.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now direct sales is direct sales. It's very done in a very traditional way, looking through professional contacts, connecting with them, reaching out to the right people.
Right.
This is also done through personal networking, where people go and meet different people. Even through the professional network like LinkedIn. When it comes to marketing, B2B marketing is a combination of direct connect as well as reaching out to the target customers, potential customers, through various media.
Yes.
And this could be LinkedIn, this could be Baidu search, 360 search. So different kinds of platforms. Now, compared with the B2C, B2B is much more difficult because targeting is very, very difficult.
Right.
Yeah. Because B2C you're directly contacting consumers, but on the B2B it's more difficult.
Sure.
So the challenge that we all saw was there were some leads which started coming in through the marketing piece also.
Yeah.
But how do we make it relevant? How do we actually do the conversion?
Right.
And because they're coming from known sources, because we know where the marketing is going. We know that it's going to LinkedIn, it's going to Baidu and all. So we know the source where they're coming in from. But we don't know what is the motivation behind those people coming in. Right? So how do we first understand if they are relevant? If they are relevant, if we are relevant to them, right? If they are relevant to us, and finally, can they bring in the business, the amount of business, the kind of business that we do, can they bring in that?
Right.
So these are some of the challenges that when we looked at it, and this takes time, effort. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
How do we streamline that process? That we look at it and we understand that yes, this is the right lead. We should go after this. This is not the right one. Should not. And if it is the right one, how do you pursue it in long term? Scenario.
Okay. One thing I'd like to find out is because B2B corporate training is a huge and broad kind of range of services. So, what will be our focus? Will there be some focus areas that NIIT wants to go into for the B2B training market?
Let me share.
Yes, please.
More detail on that. So before we started the B2B initiative in China, all our media, all our websites, and the word which is out there in the market, we're seen as more of an IT training company.
Yes.
Correct. And that is not obvious because that's what we've been focusing for the last 24 years, where we either have retail centers where students come and learn IT programs, or we partner with universities to jointly operate their IT colleges. So the work which we had done in the last 24 years of training more than 500,000 learners in China on IT, is what people know of us as, right? That's a reality.
Yes.
So we started by changing our websites, the brand which is seen out there in the market. So with Ravi, the first thing which we did was we overhauled the website.
Okay.
And we made it a global, aligned with a global website where you also talk about what we do in B2B, right? In addition to what we do with universities and our centers. So if you look at the NIT website now, it's a holistic website which talks about pretty much what we do globally.
Okay.
Right? Now, as a part of our services in B2B,
right,
there are essentially 6 practices.
Okay.
Which we focus on at a global level. Okay, and we aligned our website along with these 6 practices to start with. So the first practice, very simply, is called learning delivery. So whenever some corporates want training,
right,
and that training could be technology training, on any technology, right, or generic skills training, which could be soft skills, presentation skills, English skills, whatever skills. We work with vendors and we offer those trainings to our B2B clients.
Right.
So learning delivery is one practice or service. In addition to that, anything which goes before training, during training, and after training, the administrative activities. In an organization. Right before people are called in for training, there is some material which goes, a venue is declared, and some pre-reads are given. And
Do
then
you do things like LMS, learning management system?
Yeah, we do that LMS. That's a part of our learning technology practice.
Yes.
I'll come to that. So learning administration is a second practice where we have our people who we deploy on site in a company. Along with off-site support, project management support, which happens centrally. So we have established people, processes, and technology to be able to do learning administration activities in a more effective and efficient way than an organization would do it themselves. And therefore, by outsourcing the learning administration part of their L&D, the organization can focus on what they do best in their business. So that's our one of our value propositions in the learning administration. Third is LMSs. So we have a learning technology practice, which is not a LMS provider. We do not sell LMS. We provide customized learning technology solutions where whatever LMS you are using, multiple LMSs if you are using, or HRMIS which you are using, we can integrate all that in bringing together all your digital resources in one place. Be it for your employees, be it for your customers, or be it for your partners. So just to give an example, MetLife, I'm sure you would have heard of. So MetLife has a large workforce of about 180,000 agents, sales agents, who they need to train on various products whenever they come out with new products. How do you train such a large workforce, sales workforce? So we've been managing that with MetLife for the last more than 10 years, where all their trainings for their people globally is done through our customized learning technology solution, which we provided. It happens on that platform. So that's a part of a learning technology practice. Fourth service which we give is what we call strategic sourcing. Strategic sourcing of trainings. Now, when you look at large multinational companies, be it pharmaceutical companies, automotive companies, engineering companies, they have presence all over
Everywhere,
the world.
yes.
Okay. Now, if the training acquisition function is decentralized, right? In every country, they decide whatever they want to, train. They negotiate and they do whatever training they want. Then it's not a cost-effective way. You lose out on efficiencies, which you can manage if you do it centrally through a global provider who can provide training to you anywhere in the world.
Right.
So NIT is one such provider where we say we have presence in more than 40 countries around the world.
Wow.
And instead of training acquisition, training purchase being a decentralized thing at a country level, if it is held at a CXO level, then we can bring in cost efficiencies and better outcomes.
Right.
So what we do is strategic sourcing of training. Wherever you need training in whichever part of the world, we are your one-stop shop.
Sure.
So your purchase department
Yeah.
don't need to deal with the 2,000 training vendors.
Right.
Deal with us.
Right. Right.
We will do the entire procurement to payment process
Right. Right.
of vendors.
Sure.
You just do procurement to payment with us.
Okay,
So that
okay.
releases your time and effort in this activity.
Okay.
You can focus on whatever you do best. Now this works at a global level.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do it at a country level,
Tough.
you don't have a great value proposition.
Right.
So that's strategic sourcing.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth is another what?
Advisory services.
Advisory services, strategic advisory services, where at a larger level, if you want to, drive your L&D to be a partner to businesses and bring better outcomes for businesses.
Sure.
So overriding all these things, there is advisory consulting services.
Okay. And what kind of advice and consulting do you provide?
Advisory on how to make your L&D more effective
Okay.
and give more value to business. How to run training like a business, where training is not a function which is a cost center like a finance or HR. Right? How training and L&D can become a business within a company, and the businesses pay for L&D based on what value it adds.
Right.
So running training like a business is the key words of how we help organizations see how L&D can be a value additive function within an organization.
Okay.
I'm missing one.
Content development.
Content development. Content development is any content which you need to make.
Okay.
Be it technology content, be it non-technology content, soft skills, leadership skills.
Right.
We have the ability to make content in any media or any format.
Right.
Which could be paper-based content at a very basic level.
Sure.
It could be e-learning content. It could be gamified content, which is simulated gamified content using AI and VR. So pretty much anything which a company may want to develop as content for their people.
Sure.
So these are 6 key practices which we offer as a part of our CLG business.
Right.
Now we started with all this. When we started our journey,
Yeah.
we changed our website.
Yeah.
We started with all this.
Right.
And then as we went along, we saw that it's overwhelming. Right? It's overwhelming for the salespeople to go and talk about it.
Yep.
It is overwhelming for the people who you are talking to learn and understand so much, because a lot of things are simply overwhelming. And then we thought that let's focus on a couple of things first.
Sure.
Because all these 6 practices at a global level did not happen overnight.
Sure.
Right? It's a long history
process.
of 25 years with the CLG business has been running,
Yeah.
and these practices got added on in that part of the journey.
Yeah.
Right? So if we are trying to attempt all of them in one go,
right,
I think we're not focused.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So we said let us first focus on learning delivery,
Okay.
which is most companies need training.
Yeah.
Learning delivery.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one lower hanging opportunities which we should go after. Then we also said there could be opportunities for learning administration. There could be opportunities for learning technologies.
Right.
Okay. We said these three practices are the ones which we would like to focus on in China. Leave aside strategic sourcing, because if you're only talking about China market, the value proposition of strategic sourcing is when you're looking at a global level.
Yeah.
Right? We said leave that aside
Yeah.
for time being.
Sure.
We also said content development, let's leave it aside because one, it's an expensive proposition
Yep.
if you want to make gamified content, and many companies do not budget for large amount of money for gamifying their content, and if people want some simple content to be made in Chinese, we would not want to focus on that
Sure.
yet.
Sure.
Advisory capabilities, I think we will need to get our people to have that ability before they can go and do advisory.
Right.
So out of the CLG business, which is the corporate learning business,
Right.
learning delivery, learning technology, and learning administration are three things we want to focus. In addition to this, CJ, we are also looking at a couple of additional growth initiatives,
Sure.
which are aligned to what we do in the IT training.
Right.
Since we are an IT training company and we are
Yeah.
seen as an IT training
Right.
company, we are planning to bring in our boot camp mode of training
Wow.
for corporates as well as individuals
Okay.
in a digital format,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Where learning can happen over platform with resources available on platform which learner can access,
Sure.
with virtual labs which are enabled where again people can go do their practice on virtual labs,
Yeah.
and the faculty comprising of a couple of faculty,
Sure.
which includes an
Sure.
expert on the
Sure.
subject
Sure.
as well as an associate
Right.
who deliver training using virtual tools like Zoom or Teams,
Sure.
and it could be done from anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
So these are some of the new initiatives
Okay.
which have taken off in our other geographies, including India and US,
Right.
and we are going to be replicating them in China.
Okay.
So that's what's called a brand which we've launched 5 years back called Stack Route.
Wow.
Stack Route is a new deep skilling initiative of an IT
Wow.
on technologies, including software engineering, including cyber security,
Right.
including data sciences,
Right.
including cloud computing,
Wow.
as well as digital marketing.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So these are things which could be B2B for upskilling and reskilling the workforce in companies,
Sure.
as well as entry-level people
Mm-hmm.
in companies, people who come from universities and
Sure.
join the university, join the company,
Sure.
or it could be B2C,
Sure.
where a learner wants to get
Okay.
these skills to get a better job.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
In addition to this, we are also adding talent pipeline as a service. We call it TPaaS. Like you have IAAS, PASS,
Yeah.
and SASS
Yeah.
in IT.
Uh-huh.
We're calling it talent pipeline
Right.
as a service,
Okay.
where we want to play the role of the bridge between talent demand side from companies
Right.
and talent supply side, which are individuals.
Right.
And given that we've been working with universities to jointly operate IT colleges, we have the supply of talent which comes from universities,
Sure.
which through platform we can help companies get talent if they're looking for freshers. And in future, it will also include lateral talent which comes from the market.
Right.
People with 2 years experience, 3 years experience.
Okay.
But it's going to be a phased process.
Okay.
Everything is not going to happen overnight, right? And TPAS will also include sourcing, training, and hiring services for companies. So if you are a company which needs 100 people on software engineering over the next 1 year, we would understand what are your requirements, and we will help you source those from the market or from universities. Train them, and you can hire them. In this case, when we source them, you would be a part of selecting process of the people who will go undergo training, and you will need to give them a provisional letter of employment that if you do training and you pass this training, we'll hire you. Okay. And if it is in a B2B model, then the company is going to pay for it. If it is in a B2C model, then the learners are going to pay. So in addition to learning delivery, learning administration, and learning technology, which are a part of the corporate business, we are also bringing in stack route deep skilling programs and TPAS solutions for companies. Broadly speaking, these are the services which we want to focus on going forward in China. Again, a long answer.
A long answer, no problem. Very, very, very good. Now, this is what I'll do. I think I'll share some of what is my understanding of the China training market, both B2B and B2C, tech and non-tech, and all of that. And we'll see what areas that we can further refine. Because even if we are looking at just normal learning delivery, face-to-face learning, company wants a 2-day training, pitch for it, get it. Even for that, there is also a wide range of topics and focus to look at. Some companies are strong in sales training, some are good in soft skills, some are good in supply chain. They may also do other things, but when they want to pitch to new customers, they usually go with whatever is the strongest to try to pitch to new customer, and hopefully the customer likes them, and it branches out to other of their content. So that's usually the strategy. Also in the training business, I'll talk about this first, and then we'll go into the China training market. The thing about training is that it is a very intangible service, So intangible that normally when we talk about service industry, you talk about restaurants, talk about hotels, So you go to hotels, you go to restaurant, even before you try the food, you can take a look at the menu, you can look a peek inside how the food looks like. You go to a hotel, you can walk around in the hotel and see how the hotel is like before buying. But training is something that you don't. There's nothing, You don't even have buildings, you don't have the real food, you don't have anything, So it's totally intangible. So one of the key challenges of training is always how you make the intangible to be tangible. 就把虚的东西变成可量化，把虚变成实。And how do you do that? In the past, before COVID, the only thing we can do is we have a lot of half-day sessions, we call shalom, demo sessions that we can showcase different topics, different trainers to our target audience. So it combines. If you were to do direct sales, you call up HR and say, hey, we do training. Do you need training? And the thing about that is the HR probably is receiving like 10 such calls a day, and you're just one of the 10, So it's hard to tell how are you different from the other 9 guys, And also the HR already probably has got their key vendors, So if they have a training budget, it's very likely that they are already working with someone, right? A couple of companies, right? If they don't have a training budget, they may not be working with someone. But then again, you've got to convince them why they should have a training budget, right? So it's neither parts are good, but that's the thing. So instead of you call direct and say we have training. Do you want training? So what we do is we organize little events like this. Some are free, some we just do cost recovery like 200 kwai or 300 kwai, just to get people in and have a taste of what we do, right? And so instead of telling people that we go for a 2-day training, we say that we got this event and it's free or it's only 200 kwai. Do you want to have a look? So that is what we call an easy sale. To actually get people interested, and then and then once they're in, we can discuss about further things. So we talk about pipeline. We put them into the pipeline and we start to discuss further. Right. So those are ways. The good thing about COVID is that we can do online. In the past, because China was a very much a face-to-face training market. People like to see people, right? So when we say we want to do online, not many people like it. And then COVID comes, and then even after China came out of lockdown early last year, right now is the moment you have some cases in Shanghai, some cases somewhere, and then all travel is restricted. People, you're not supposed to go for big gatherings, so people are quite afraid. So the online element becomes more and more acceptable, especially if you're just doing a 2-hour sharing or 1.5 hour sharing. For online, we make it even shorter. So we try to keep it around 1.5 hours for an online sharing. And it's a lot easier to organize because we just send email, you just send to LinkedIn, you harvest some emails, send to people, and whoever want to come. Right, you may want to structure the forms as in they fill in more details or some specific details before they can come for a free online session, right? And from there, if you get their contact information before they join, your sales can follow through and say, hey, how do you feel about the session? What have you learned? How do you want to apply? Is there something you want to do further? So those things are a lot more available now. Right, so those are some things to make the intangible or the invisible a bit more visible, and people can actually touch and feel and experience something before they make a final decision. Right. So those are things. So in general, if you are looking at China training market, I'll go for a simpler one first. We'll talk about B2C here, right? If you are looking at B2C Chinese training market, the focus almost always is on the certification. And it can be any kind of certification, as long as they can use the certificate and get a better job. Right? So I'll just give certification that is not issued by the government, it's not issued by the school, but it's making hell lots of money, and it's not IT related. One of them is IT related, one of them is not. So if you are talking about Scrum, right? Scrum is a big thing in China, right? And I was told that the fees for Scrum certification outside of China is cheaper.
What's Scrum?
Scrum 敏捷的那个
project manager.
敏捷项目的管理叫 Scrum， 没有中文名字，就是 Scrum。Right. So I did my Scrum Master in Guangzhou 2019. So those are an area that people are really looking at. And within the Scrum universe, if you're just talking about Scrum Alliance itself, it's got lots and lots of certification, right? Relating to Scrum is
Are you a Scrum Master trainer?
I'm Scrum Master certified, yes. Right. So the other part is related to that. In the old way, you have PMI and PMP, right? Again, it's another certification that people are wanting to go for, right? So these are things that are nothing to do with university. So sometimes people think that certificate, you need to have a university backing or a school backing so that it has value in the market? Depends, right? If it's established enough, things like Scrum or PMP, sometimes you don't need that. Then these are not the most profitable. The most profitable is coaching certification, 教练认证，企业教练, right? Executive coaching. And just to give an idea of a price differential. So I did 2 different coaching certifications. Long story why I did 2 and not 1. But both are done outside of China, right? The one that I did in Malaysia is about 1/3 of the price in China. It's not cheaper by 1/3. It's 1/3 of the price. It's cheaper by 2/3. 打了3折. So that's how large is the gap. The other one I did it in the US through online and all that. Cost about 3,000 US, which is 6 or 18, about 20,000 RMB, right? A typical coaching certification in China costs about 35 to 40,000 RMB. Right, so that those are the huge differentials, and people are taking certification because again they perceive it as something that either if they for a coach, if they want to go freelance, you want to go as an individual coach, it helps them to get business, and of course they learn something. Or if they want to seek for future employment, I'm PMP certified, I'm Scrum certified, I can do Scrum projects. It helps them to get a better job, right? So that's usually the case. And the good thing about NIT, I don't think certification in itself is a problem for NIT, right? So if there are certain things that you can package and make it a certificate, that may be a market. If we look outside of China, there are certification in digital marketing, right? There are just one thing about digital marketing, just to digress a little bit. Most of the time, digital marketing are for B2C. So you know how you sell on Taobao, Amazon, and whatnot. Or how you do Douyin and have become 网购带货, 直播带货. So those are more B2C. But if you're able to do B2B digital marketing, whatever that is, if you can run your own virtual trade show, or if you have a trade show, how you then promote the show and link it to other digital marketing initiatives and so on. So those could be an angle. AI is a huge topic overseas. AI and data, data analysis. Those are huge topics overseas. There are certificates and diplomas in that. There are some talks about using AI and digital analysis or big data for HRs. So it can be HR of a small company, it doesn't have to be big, but even the smallest company, you got tons of things in Excel that are not very well organized, but somehow it's all unorganized data hidden somewhere in some Excel files, right? So if there's a way to extract the right information, categorize them, and make use of it, and the HR person can actually do that without learning too much of coding. So those are some of the things that are trending at the moment. The big data for HR has been a topic for even in China. The question is, or the perception is always that you've got to be a large company. You've got to have a lot of resources in order to do that for any HR department, right? So if there's a way to do it in a more cost-effective way, that could be a certificate, and people can actually learn it. Right. So those are some of the things that are trending, and if you're looking at B2C, the one that is always a certification. If you're working with institutes or universities, sometimes if they issue the certificates, sometimes if they got good relationships with the local government, you can have the program subsidized. So there are things like you learn. There are simple things like how to cook, how to be a house cleaner, how to do massage, the right way and all that, and people attend the course, and after they complete the course, the entire school fees